Hi everyone and welcome to day 10 of Cavemas. I apologise for my appearance because up until about 15 minutes ago I was covered in cow poop. I have put my Christmas earrings in though to maintain the tradition of always having something festive on. They're kind of shaped like gift bows that you put on your Christmas parcels, like the one I drew in day 4. I don't know if you can see these or not. Anyway, yes, so I'm very pushed for time, but I still had to film this at some point. I have family here and obviously the festivities are in full swing. So today's video is really, it's a combination of art and sort of craft video. I wanted to do something to show my gratitude towards all of you for your generosity over the year, and there was one item that I got in my Santa haul which I didn't show the other day, and that item was this. It is a black scrapbook. So we're going to do something exciting with that today. Speaking of black paper, I have uploaded my scroller challenge to my Instagram. So if you watched yesterday's video and you're curious to see what I did with the supplies, if you hop over to Instagram, you'll be able to see my handiwork for that there. Anyway, let's get going. Alright, so first of all, I just wanted to show you quickly this scrapbook, and it's come in this lovely big box. It is a spiral bound scrapbook and it is square. And in the box has come a metallic gold pen, and that's because the pages inside are black and it's so that you can write on the pages. And also these little photograph like corner stickers. I don't know what they're actually called, but there's quite a selection of them, and there's some really nice shiny gold ones there as well. Ooh! So you can see it's got a really nice ribbon tie on it here, and the thing I like about these is that because they lie flat, you can really, you can get some nice sort of double page spreads. And also as well, the reason that I got this one specifically is the front cover is matte, and that's where we're going to be doing the bulk of the work today because I want to put something on here. Now, to the point, what this scrapbook is actually for, I have kept every single piece of correspondence that I have received from my PO box over the last year, and I really just want you guys to know how much I appreciate your generosity and the fact that you've taken the time to spend money and send me things and help make the cave what it is today. So I thought it would be a really nice idea to create this scrapbook so that I can keep everything, because I love getting stuff in the mail. I love getting letters and notes and all that kind of thing. And once I've filled it up, I thought it would be really nice to do a video on it and flick through it and show you all. Obviously I will hide any sensitive information such as full names and people's addresses, but I don't want to throw any of this out because it's this stuff that makes me love doing what I do for the channel, and it really inspires me and motivates me to keep going and do more and put in the hard work, and I just want you guys to know that. And I just think this is a really nice way to have it all on display and also embrace our arty side in the process. And I am going to call this the Colour Cave Book of Gratitude. So I thought a good starting point would be to put one of the Colour Cave stickers on the front of it, and some of you may have these stickers if you've bought things from the cave before or you've had any return correspondence from me. You'll be the owner of one of these. And the other thing that I've got here I thought would be good to start with is I've got some Posca pens because they're great on black paper. Haven't used them in a while as well, so I thought maybe we could utilise them for the front cover too. I don't even want this to be like super perfect or like really symmetrical or anything like that. I want this to be fun, and I want it to be just I don't know what the word is to describe it. Maybe you guys could tell me a good word. I've also got my recently procured Faber-Castell metallic pens here, of which I seem to have an absolute buttload of now, but yeah, look out for them in the cave stash in the new year. So I was thinking like maybe around this we could do like a sort of dot style mandala type thing, because I've got all these lovely sort of pastel-y colours and I thought that might look quite nice. And then maybe I could write in my handwriting the Big Book of Gratitude or something, like over here. So I'm going to start with this this Faber-Castell metallic pen. This is the Heart of Gold, and weirdly the first thing that I want to put in is the word of. Is that strange? Okay, so I thought we could maybe start with like a nice gradient little dot pattern, and which is ironic because dot patterns and that sort of patterns in general aren't really my thing, but I feel this overwhelming urge to do it. I'm going to turn this round so that the spiral isn't bothering me, being a lefty, you know. And I'm just going to start by getting some dots here. This is a good way to make sure that you've got everything even, is to go in diagonals. I'm sure most of you will know that already. I don't know whether to make these ones slightly bigger. I think we'll do that. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to let this Posca dry slightly, and then I am going to go over and give these dots a sort of second coat, so that the colours really do stand out. And I mean, they are standing out. They don't look like they are on the camera, but they are. Yeah, this just looks like a lot of white dots, doesn't it? Let's zoom in a bit, maybe you can see the colours a bit better. Is that better? I don't know if that's better. I actually, I did have a sticker that I was wanting to use, and I'm going to show you, but it makes me laugh, but I don't think it's entirely appropriate. Some of you will appreciate this though, but I felt it was a little contradictory. Oh goodness me, that's just my sense of humour. I don't hate all of you at all. That's not true. Absolutely not true. Just not a big fan of people. And that's one of the things in doing this, and one of the things that has been so nice about having this channel for as long as I have now, and you guys, especially the people that are contributing to this particular book, you really have like restored my faith in humanity quite a lot. I think we're very lucky. We have a good community here. Everyone's pretty awesome. And as I say, I just want you to know that I appreciate all of you very much. So we're on to like a lilac colour now. My dots are getting bigger and bigger. There doesn't seem to be much colour difference between these two, and I think that's where, by going over a second time, that will become more apparent, one would hope. I don't know if you can hear the wind outside the cave. It's freakishly mild here today, but there is this wind, and it would actually like just cut you in half. I just about got blown away this morning when I was out checking on my little cavies, which by the way are doing well. Some of the first ones that were born are getting pretty fat now. They're getting on well with their mums, which is awesome. That's what we want. Okay, we're onto this blue one now. Oh, I love this blue colour. That's so nice. Turn this around a little bit. It's really nice to see as well, something as simple as just drawing some circles can have a really nice impact on black paper like this. It doesn't have to be complicated to make something look pretty. Again, that's a philosophy I kind of stick to. I do tend to favour less complex artwork in general, both for, you know, to enjoy, to like for myself to look at, but also to draw and paint as well. Okay, I've got sort of like a minty turquoisey green here, so this is going to be the last one. And I'm really pleased that I've managed to fit all of these in, because I really wanted to get to the green pen because it's my favourite. I'm just using the sticker in the middle as an anchor point to put my hand on so I don't smudge anything. Straight off the bat, that has not taken me any time at all, and it looks really cute. It looks really lovely. So to match this sort of gold here, I just want to put a little bit of decoration in the corners. And I'm going to use a really simple scroll pattern, and I want to show you just on a blank bit of paper before I do it. And it's just like a figure of 8, and it is literally just overlapping on what you've just done and bringing it down. It's a really simple and effective design, and it looks really nice in corners. I still bullet journal, but my bullet journaling has become more and more simplistic as time goes on, and it's just because I haven't time to spend on it now. I did most of my bullet journaling when I was a writer, and bullet journaling was kind of like how I embraced my sort of artistic creative side, but because I spend so much time doing art now, my bullet journals are very bullety. But there's a few things that I still like, so I'm going to start this pattern here, and I'm going to go a lot slower so that I get a really nice even lay down of this ink. It does flow pretty well, this pen, and I'm just going to finish it off with a little curl like that. So you can see there, that's given quite a nice little flourish in the corner without being too sort of in your face, and I'm just going to repeat that in the other corner, so I'll turn this round. Yep, so like this one is a mirror image of this one, the way I've finished the curls on the tails, and I'm going to do the same in this bottom corner. There we go, that's looking quite nice. And I think following on from the dot theme, I think I might just put a bit of a border around the outside, and I'm going to alternate between these gold and silver metallic pens. That might be quite nice. So I'm going to start with the silver because the corners are gold. And again, I'm not looking for pinpoint accuracy. I'm not a person that likes to measure things out and, you know, be really precise with stuff like that, because it kind of takes the fun out of it for me. I do plenty of really sort of measured, precise things in my proper job on a day-to-day basis. I do not want to start measuring and regimenting everything when I'm making videos, so I'm just eyeballing this. And again, that's something, if you do any sort of journaling or scrapbooking, you do tend to get reasonably good at that, especially if you're working on a flat surface like paper. I struggle with it more if it is a 3D thing. A really good example of that was when I was making my resin decorations for my Christmas tree. See, measuring out a piece of string by eye, I'm just not great at it, but if it's on a piece of paper, if it's flat, I find it much easier for some reason. I don't know whether that's just a lack of practice though, but you can see I'm buzzing through this fairly quickly without too much hassle, and it's not perfectly even, but it's not disastrously uneven either. So I should manage along the top here. I have left myself enough of a margin to be able to get this pen, you know, past the dots of this centre piece without them interfering with each other. I did have that in the back of my mind when I was doing this, but I also really wanted to get the full range of colours in. So if it had been a case of choosing between the green pen and this border, I would have picked the green pen, and I would have just stopped the border just short of it, maybe here. I was just finishing the border off there off camera, and Pip's jumped up and put her paws in it. Just down here, so you can see we've got some Pippy smudges. Thanks, Pip, that's really good of you. And I've also just penciled out some lettering so that we can get going, but you can see, I mean, that looks quite nice, and that's not taken me a long time to do, so it is really easy to do stuff like this. So I wanted to use this green colour for the word gratitude because green is my favourite colour. I decided to stick with these Posca pens and just kind of like tie this together. So I thought I could do the main part of the lettering in the yellow and then use the peach colour for like a shadow, do like a slight 3D effect on it. So I'm just going to take my time here. Lettering is not my strong point, which is why I'm keeping it simple, and it's not something I get a huge amount of pleasure out, to be honest. But I still want this to look nice because it needs to look nice. So I'm turning upside down because, again, being left-handed, it's not good for me to work left to right. So I just want to put out the skeleton of the letters to begin with. So maybe about here. So I'm going very roughly based on the pencil lines that I've already put in. Now the advantage of doing this way as well is that if your lines are a wee bit wonky or they're not entirely perfect, you have lots of room for manoeuvre to fix them. And I do not have the steadiest of hands. I have good days and bad days. My hands and I have a love-hate relationship. Like that's just nowhere near straight, but that's okay. I am not panicking. Okay, so I've got the start of some sort of line work there. Now I want to put this bottom part in as well, because once this is done I don't have to do anything else to this bottom line here. And I am doing this in it is my handwriting, but it will be an exaggerated form of my handwriting. So I am going to take my time a little bit with this, and I do have to do this left to right, otherwise I can't write it in my handwriting, if that makes any sense to anyone at all. I think this is probably the neatest I'll have written in my own handwriting in a long time. Oh, just letting that dry a little bit because the last thing I want to do is smudge it. I can cross my T's here. Now, one of the things you can do if you're using something like this is you can kind of like falsify it into like a brush script, and all you have to do to that is think about which parts of the letters are your upstrokes, so when you're going up the way, and which parts are your downstrokes, and you can alternate one or the other to be thicker or thinner. So if your upstrokes are thin, then you make your downstrokes fat. So with the word gratitude, I've gone up there, and as I've come around that apex, that would be my downstroke, which I would make thicker. So all I can do is like double up the line width here, and you can do this with any pen. And as it comes down to the bottom here, coming up this part here, that is obviously, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see a wee bit better. As I come up here, that's going back to an upstroke, so I want this to taper off here. And you can build that up, you know, you can make it more pronounced, and you can just, you know, well, you can do as you please with it. You can make it as obvious as you want or not. Now, I'm only doing this in certain places because I don't want it all to end up looking really fat, but I just want to put some more weight on the letters, which is why I'm favouring the sort of second half of the downstroke. You can see it's just given a bit of weight to the bottom of these letters, which is really nice. So I'm just going to go back up here and pronounce this one a little bit more as well. There we go, it's just added a little bit more to it, so I'll zoom out a little bit now. Now I'm going to go back to these letters, and I'm kind of going to do the same thing, although obviously not with a brush type stroke, but now I can work backwards. You see, this is great. And all I'm going to do is start to thicken up these letters. So first of all, I just want to block them out a little bit more, following that skeleton. And if you do it gradually, oh, that's not dry yet. If you do this gradually, it means that you can keep eyeballing it and you can keep adding to it. This is no different to colouring in layers or working in layers of paint on a canvas. If you do it incrementally, you have much better control over the outcome than trying to do it all in one go. Yes, it takes longer, but as a wise man once told me, do it once and do it right. So there we go, that's put a bit of chunk on the letters already. It is more difficult with circles, I'm not going to deny that for a second. And I tend to go back to my sketching style and go in kind of like feathery strokes. I don't know if that's a bad habit or not, or whether that's frowned upon by the arting stroke, well, I'm assuming the lettering community would say that you absolutely don't do that. But I feel as if I have a reasonable amount of control over my sketchy strokes. So, you know, I can still get them relatively smooth. So just by doing those two letters that are quite different from each other, you know, one's very straight and one's very curved, I can tell you that I'm not happy with the line weight, you know, with the width of these letters. So I'm just going to work away on these two for a little while longer and try and make them up to the thickness that I think I want, and I think it's going to be something like this. It's funny when I'm looking at this, obviously I'm looking at these three letters and it instantly makes me think of the librarian in Terry Pratchett's Discworld novels. For those of you who like to read that kind of thing, that you will understand that reference, and for those of you that don't, this refers to an orangutan, which again some of you know I quite like. So yeah, this is like funny on a number of levels. Now when I'm working on this B here, I'm going back to looking at my up and down stroke for the thickness. That's kind of like my reference for this one. So I can confidently kind of chip away at this, knowing that I'm just looking over to the right there, and that's roughly what I'm going for. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not striving for perfection here. That's looking not too bad. I kind of want to bring this curve out a little bit here on this part of this B. Okay, I'm fairly happy with that. My B's are quite different, but they're still following roughly the same format. This one's a lot wider, but again, for that more sort of freehand feel, which I favour anyway in my art, as well as the odd time I do things like this, I'm quite happy with this. So I'm going to leave that like that, and I'm moving on to this slightly pale orangey colour. Now the idea here is that we keep it consistent, and I find that easiest to do by starting with the simple letters. Now again, I will probably have to go back over this so that it stands out. So when you're doing circular parts like this, you want to think of the inside and the outside should join up. if this is our circle, you know, this is our letter O, when we're adding in these sort of 3D parts to it, if you have a part on the inside here, the outside should form a whole extra letter. So this part here and this part here should essentially almost join up. And I'll do roughly the same here on this one. I'm going to have to go back over this with another coat, but that's okay, we don't mind. Again, the straight up and down letters are way more straightforward. I find them easier to deal with anyway. Okay, I should be able to go back over this now with a... I've got this dark grey fine liner, which I find is just, it's not quite as stark, and I don't really want to take away from the you know, the impact of this black background. But if I just, not even a full line, just like even a sort of broken type line, give it a nice sketchy feel to it, I think that's just going to be enough to make it stand out a little bit more. Right, let's take a zoom out then. And there we have it. That is the cover of the Big Book of Gratitude. I am super excited about that. The first thing that's going inside here, and I'm not even going to have like a contents page or anything, I'm just going to start straight on this side. The very first thing that I received was a letter from Crayola Skies, and if you remember, I did a video where I took her Mermaid, I can't remember what we called it. What did we call it? Anyway, that letter, and I have kept that in its entirety because it was such a lovely envelope, and you can see I've still got her dress covered up there so you can't see it. And I'm going to use this first page. Now I've even kept the I've kept the tea bag packet, and I am going to start here and put these things in and make everything pretty. Okay, here's a throwback to my childhood, and I'm probably going to give my age away a bit here, but this is the Babysitters Club, which books were really popular when I was a young lass, and this is like letters that they've sent to each other over a holiday. And you can see, like, there's a get well card. One of the girls had broken her leg or something, I think. Can't really remember, it's been a while. Just trying to see when this was published. 1993, oh my god. Yeah, so you know, there's letters and things, and that's the kind of thing that I've had in my head, because look, you can open this up and then there's supposed to be, you know, what is a handwritten letter inside. So I was kind of thinking about the same sort of thing for our scrapbook, and that is why I have kept all the envelopes and things like that. So I am actually going to put all this in, and the letters can stay in the envelopes, and it means I can pull them out and read them whenever I want as well. I don't really want to ruin the front of the envelope though, this is the thing. Okay, so the way to do this so that we can have the back and the front is to cut up the envelope, and do this very carefully, really carefully. So there we go. Now I essentially have the front and the back part of the envelope. I need to cut the flap off as well. It's not much good if you don't have the flap. And what I want to do is stick this in here, and then I can actually tape down what is essentially the back part of the envelope and have this as a flap, and it means I can tuck the letter back in. That can go up there, and then I can pop a little date on or whatever I want to do. So I think you'll agree that this is going to look quite cute. So once I've stuck all this down and it's dry, I'm just going to put a little bit of decoration, and this is the part where I can use all of the supplies that I have that work on black paper, and this is kind of why I wanted a black paper scrapbook, because I do like things that go on black paper. So anyway, I'm going to stick all this down and let it dry, and I'll be back with you in just a little jiffy. Okay, so you can see here, this is all stuck down now, and I've made just a little sellotape flap so that I can lift out the letter, which you can see is snuggled neatly in there, and that will stay nice and safe in there. And all I've done is sellotape round the edges so that I've got the full width of the envelope so that the letter still fits in. Obviously I will take this post-it note away once I'm finished filming, because I've covered that up because it's Crayola Skies personal address. So what I've got now is I've got a little bit of really pretty washi tape, and all I want to do is just sort of stick this on, and just to really sort of pretty things up a bit. I just want to pin down this tea bag sachet, and I'm just going to snip off my slightly rugged edges there, just to hold that in place. It is quite a funny material that these sachets are made of, and I'm not sure how well the glue that I've got will hold. But that's just a little reminder that Crayola Skies sent me tea, which is real nice. I like getting tea. And then I can take some of my beautiful pens and pencils. So I think I might take a white gel pen. I'm actually spoiled for choice with stuff like this. I have so many supplies. It's getting dark now. I'm going to try and put this light on. I'm starting to lose the light, which, as we know, is kind of inevitable. Oh my goodness. How's that? Just for this last step. Can we cope with this? So what date did we decide? It was April, wasn't it? So I'm going to put April 2019 down in this corner. And I think I'll use the gold and silver, and then up here I can put because that's a reminder of who sent me this. And there we have it. That is the first page of the Colour Cave Big Book of Gratitude. I hope you've enjoyed this today. It's something a little bit different. I have a lot of stuff to put in here, and I'm not going to sit and do all of it. This video would be like 16 hours long. But if we just take a look at the front cover now, I can tie this up. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out, and having that artificial light's actually helped me show you all the bits and pieces. I do have a bit of erasing to do but you can still see a bit of the pencil lines, a bit of the graphite, but we'll get rid of that. And I hope that I will be able to fill this book with all of your things, and I have something to refer back to, and I can sit and read all these pretty letters and things that you guys have been so kind to send me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love getting mail, and I'm just overwhelmed at the support and the generosity of all of you, and I just think this is a really nice way to let you guys know that I'm thanking you from the bottom of my heart, and this channel would be nothing without people that do this kind of thing, and it is not a requirement, and that's what makes it so special. So thank you very much. Thanks for coming to hang out with me while I'm doing this as well, and when this book is full, and I've got a funny feeling it's not going to be long if I'm truthful, I will gladly show you the finished article in a flip through. Enjoy your day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.